Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no activist, I'm no civil rights leader, or whatever the case may be. I'm just a working class man who has three kids that's coming up in this world, and I see things and I'm able to articulate things in a way that just exudes common sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to do this video right here because after my last video, which was about Tyree Nichols, God rest his soul, I saw another part of the video that I didn't see the first time, and that was when the guy is they have him leaning up against the car and he's sitting on his butt, and um, these guys actually came around and they started talking to, I guess, the other arriving officers that are arriving on the scene or whatnot, and I started to see them say things like he went for someone's gun, and he was high, and he was higher than a motherfucker, and certain things that they were saying, and even to the point that at one point in the video, one of the officers was standing over him, taunting him and saying, "You can't go nowhere. You can't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere," or whatever the case may be. At least 5, 6 times, ladies and gentlemen. For those who don't know, or for those who don't understand, to those of us who are real and we understand what's about to happen, we understand how this situation is going to be looked at and how it's going to be held against us simply because of the way that we have reacted. We have been very nonchalant, all right? Because it's going to appear that the only time we care is when white officers are involved. And that's why I ask, why are we not talking about this that much? Because what it's always been about, it has not been about white and black. That's what they made it into. What it's been about is the systematic oppression of a certain group of people. Now, what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, is it's been the system versus the black man. That's what it's always been about. And it's not just in this sense, but it's always been about the system against the black man. Ladies and gentlemen, when I heard those officers doing what they were doing for the camera and saying things like he went for the gun and saying that he was higher than the motherfucker or whatever the case may be. Why? Because after you've been hitting him in his fucking head, he was dazed. Is that why you're saying that? You see boxers get punched in their shit all the time, and they stand up and they're a bit wobbly. You see Tua Tagovailoa, however you say his name, plays for Miami Dolphins when he had his concussions and he gets wobbly. Ladies and gentlemen, all that I'm simply saying is this. Those guys, when I listened to what they were saying, that is system. They have systematically taught these guys the right things to say in these situations in order to do what? That's what that is. And they were taught this by a system that had nothing, this system was not built by us. But they were even taught the right things to say when they step outside the lines of what the law dictates they should do. Now, I'm not going to feed into the other innuendo because there's always something, and I don't know if it's true and I don't know if it's false. I'm not going to feed into that stuff that they're saying about one of the officers and stuff like that because, again, I don't know if it's true. But I am going to simply say this, ladies and gentlemen. What happened seem more than personal, and it actually hurts more because they look more like us. It actually hurts more because you can see the ability for us to be brainwashed into thinking that when we're doing something wrong and we know we're doing something wrong, and how many people, how many families have been hurt by this, and we know that that's going to be the case, and that it still doesn't stop us. Ladies and gentlemen, we constantly hear that our armies, navies, Air Force are breeding killing machines. Are we sure they're being taught when to turn it on and off? Is it the same thing in the same process in these precincts and in these police academies and so on and so forth? See, this is why we need to talk. This is why we need to talk. All of us need to speak out. This is why this video should get shared. This is why, and the sad thing is, this will be one of those videos that get maybe 4 or 5 views, maybe 20 views, or whatever the case may be, because these are the type of videos that we don't share, where someone is actually trying to make a change and make a difference. Because a lot of us aren't speaking because those cops are black. But it's not black versus white. It's not black versus black. This is about black versus the system. And black lives always matter to me. Show off.